Welcome to the Horror Fanatic, horror reviews for horror fans. Tonight we're going to talk about the 2017 anthology film XX. XX is a female-driven horror anthology that comprises of 4 short stories: The Box, The Birthday Party, Don't Fall, and Her Only Living Son. Let's talk about what we liked about the movie.
The first thing I liked about this movie was the stop motion in between each short. That was really cool and creepy and interesting. I actually liked the first story at the Box. I thought it was really intriguing, but I also thought it was going to explain more and that it was going to have some kind of payoff. But unfortunately, I was very disappointed. I thought Don't Fall was kind of a fun, cheesy B-movie, horror kind of movie. And the practical special effects that they used for the monster was really well done, I thought, for, a short. I liked the speech that the mom gave at the end of Her Only Living Son. I thought that was the only time I actually saw strength in a woman in all of these shorts. What did you think, Travis?
Oh my. This one's real tough because I really wanted this one to be good.
Didn't we all?
The things that I liked about this film is a lot of the ideas were really intriguing. Some of the stories started out really interesting. The birthday party one was kind of a comedy horror, and that was kind of fun. Don't Fall, to me, was the strongest one. It was kind of like a B-movie silliness and kind of grindhousey feel. I did kind of like that one. And besides that, I really can't think of too much. But I will have to agree with Laura. I did enjoy the claymation segments. Adam, what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, I love anthologies, so I like that they chose to go with an anthology format for this. Some of the visual effects were actually pretty impressive. In the first movie, called The Box, they have to give makeup or CGI, I'm not sure which, to make somebody look skinny, like very, very starving skinny. And it looked really good.
Yeah,
I felt like
it looked great.
Yeah, and as mentioned for the third segment called Don't Fall, they used some creature effects that were really solid, nice and slimy, and really good stuff. So they definitely did a good job with some of those effects. I love the fact that it's a female-driven film. I really think that it's needed and that it gives an opportunity. So I was really excited about this.
Weren't we all?
Yeah. So let's talk about what we did not like about this film.
So I have several dislikes about this movie. The Box, I was really disappointed that they didn't explain anything. There was no reason why the characters acted the way they did, and it was a really unsatisfying ending. The birthday party, I understood and appreciated what they were trying to do. They were really trying, but it fell short and it needed to be pushed to make it just absolutely ridiculous because it just played it too safe and it just made it very boring.
Go crazy with it.
Yeah. All of the women in this movie were fairly unlikable.
Yeah.
And not in a way that made sense for the story. It was just, they were just unlikable, which is very unfortunate. Travis, what did you think?
This one just has so many bad things. It's really hard for me to really focus on just one bad thing, because since it's an anthology, I try to think of them as separate parts in a whole, but they didn't really work as separate parts or as a whole. The Box had an interesting idea that didn't fucking go anywhere, which might be the fact that it's based on a book, or a short story, actually, by Jack Ketchum. And the short story also has a very unsatisfying ending. It's left up to you to imagine what's in the box. But there was nothing else to it. I mean, the woman character was so unlikable. Just such a harsh, evil woman. It's just, why make this mom so awful? I don't understand. Part 2, to me, had the most potential. You have that birthday party, kind of the chaos that ensues when the mom's just so obsessively focused on the birthday party that she puts everything else out of her mind, including a dead body. But they didn't do anything with that either. And the sound quality was really bad, too, especially in that one. Part 3, again, is the strongest one, but it's still not very good. It's a good time to watch after all the rest of the shit you've gone through, but it's just still not very good. Part 4 was boring. It was, to me, the most professional looking out of all of them, but it was boring and it was fucking pointless, just like every other part of this fucking awful pile of shit movie.
Tell us what you really think.
Adam, what do you think?
I found it pretty boring for the most part, personally. I know that anthologies can be very weird, and I think VHS, Creepshow, Twilight Zone, they all go weird and bizarre, and so I expect that. But this one was just boring. They didn't go anywhere. They didn't answer anything, and I don't need it gift wrapped for me, but it just goes nowhere. The mother in the box, so the very first short, she's played by Natalie Brown. Now, Natalie Brown is in a show called The Strain, where I have not been impressed with her work, and I was not impressed with her work in this film, because she plays a very detached mother, and I don't understand why she was detached.
Yeah.
There's a very serious family crisis going on, and she just seems like she doesn't care. And the father figure in the family actually does. I don't really get that.
Yeah.
In the birthday party, I agree that there was a lot of potential. It was a very dark comedy, but I think if you wanted to make it more comedic or you wanted to do something special with it, just go nuts with it, like Lora said.
Yeah.
Don't Fall, the third segment, is a much more traditional horror story.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we were maybe drawn to that one a little bit more, being a traditional horror story. But it was so weak in its premise.
Yeah.
But we were just happy to finally get something that made some sense.
It was just like finding an oasis when you're in the desert.
Like, oh, I know this. And, I mean, the creature effects are good, but overall, it was just a very clumsy story.
Nothing new.
Nothing new.
At all.
And then the very final one was actually the one that I liked the most, probably. I don't want to spoil it, but it basically follows the storyline of a very famous movie that's out there.
Yeah.
And I think it follows a mother that's worried about what her son, who's about to be 18, is growing into, but they don't do enough with it. And they just fumble with it. The mom seems scared the whole time, and then she becomes strong at the end, and then something really weird happens, and it makes no sense. So a lot of dislikes for this one, unfortunately, when there's a lot of opportunity.
Yeah.
Now we're going to move into a segment that we like to call What's in the Box?
What's in the box?
What's in the box? What's in the fucking box?
So today, we are, again, going to do things a little different. Not that we have enough things to have any kind of repertoire.
That
but,
huge history we have.
But today we're going to talk about this movie and how successful it was because they promoted it so hard as a female-driven movie that we just have to ask our one female host, Lora, do you feel like this movie was successful?
No.
There you have it, folks.
There you have it. No.
Good night.
Good night. Oh, yeah.
Okay, my first complaint is that this was written and directed by women. We should have strong women characters that are likable or something. Or like badass women who are like the bad guy in the movie. But instead we had stereotypical, like, typical boxed-in characters.
Yeah, absolutely.
For all of the women. Like, all of the women were mothers.
Well, three of them were moms.
Three of the four.
Except for the Don't Fall.
Yeah.
Don't Fall, where you have
And
scared...
then they were like just like stupid 20-year-olds
Like
who
the
were
dumb,
like
the dumb college student.
yeah, the dumb
ones, like,
dumb
from
college
movies.
student
Yeah.
girls that were
So
like,
really
you know,
stereotypical.
scared. Ooh.
Well, she was scared of everything. She was scared of her own shadow.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just it was written by women. Where are our strong female characters?
Well, and something I found out about it is there were stipulations when they made it. It had to be a female director, a female writer, and a female lead. So those were stipulations that they had to do this with.
It's just so hard to imagine why. I mean, maybe they were trying to make something that appealed more to what they think is the common American woman, which is either a housewife or a drunken blonde bimbo.
Or a waitress.
Or a waitress, yeah. This movie had so much writing on it. You know, I mean, you can't promote yourself as like a female empowerment, female-driven movie with no female empowerment in it.
Well, and I have to say, with respect, as a male, I wanted to see this. Like, I wanted this to be successful.
Oh, yeah, man. Kick-ass women in movies are awesome.
Yeah, and not just kick-ass females, but also just to see the creativity.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like, so as a male, I can look at these movies and I go, okay, so what are women about in the horror genre? And it seems to me that this movie really pushes the mother quality, the being afraid of your things happening with your family, which I know can be scary, but that can't be all.
Yeah.
Right? So, what do you think about the marketing, Laura? Like, they market it hard. And what's the significance, though?
I think it was producers trying to make a buck off of women.
Some kind of male producer, perhaps?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, something about this. It
seems like a novelty, though.
It's infuriating to me.
They were basically whoring out women.
Yeah, that's what this film is. And which is a shame because, I mean, one of the directors here, Annie Clark, of The Birthday Party is St. Vincent, who's a really good musician, really good singer, and she's super creative. Her music videos and even when she sings live, everything about her is crazy and creative. How she made such a bland and boring movie is beyond me.
With her creativity.
I know.
Yeah.
It was just a shame because I really, really do like her music, but that was it. It's so disappointing. That's the biggest thing I can say about this is that it was disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's not much more to say. I mean, one thing I did notice is a lot of people are missing that the title is XX.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought it was just kisses.
And it could be, but it's really a reference to the chromosomes.
Yeah.
So the title is essentially female.
Yeah.
And I don't really get pushing it that hard.
No. Especially when it's not pushed hard at all in
the
shorts
movies.
themselves.
In the stories themselves.
Like, I'd almost wish that we would have had, like, some cheesy Grindhouse-style movie where it's, like, a girl, like actually fighting her way to the top of, like, the corporate ladder. I mean, that would have been cool, you know? I mean, just something weird or crazy like that, but just not boring.
I don't know. I think we've said enough about this.
Yeah.
I mean, I really do think there was an opportunity, though.
Yeah.
And sitting here with Laura, you were watching it right there with us, and you were confused. You're like, I don't understand what they're doing.
Yeah. It was just a mess.
So now we're going to move on to our final scores and our favorite scenes.
For me, this movie gets a hard F. There's so much wasted potential in this film. Annie Clark directed the second part, which was The Birthday Party, and I'd almost like to see that developed into an entire film, like a feature-length film, because I feel like she could really push that and develop that with more time and make that into an excellent film. But overall, this is just fucking garbage, and the marketing really pissed me off. If I had to pick a favorite scene from this pile of shit, it's in part 3, which is Don't Fall. They find these. I'm almost positive they call them hieroglyphics, but they're totally just cave drawings. Like, I don't know, but I swear they said they were hieroglyphics. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna rewatch it to find out. But one of the characters says that they think it says, "Get off my lawn."
Get off my lawn.
which was just so fucking stupid. I laughed my ass off because I'm just like, what in the fuck am I watching? And then there was another part where a character said, "Stop razzing me." I mean, really? Again, that was probably my favorite part, though. So what does that say? Adam, what do you think?
Yeah, I have to give it a very unfortunate F, because really at the end of the day, it's just a horror film. Yeah. And regardless of how they want to market it, what they're trying to say socially, it's a horror film, it's an anthology. And I can grade it against all the other horror films and anthologies, and I like so many others way more than this. So I think it deserves the F, unfortunately. My favorite scene is also talking about the birthday party, the second story in there. The mom is having a very hard day, and she's all razzed up trying to, well, deal with her issue. And all of a sudden the doorbell rings, and it's this giant dancing panda guy that's rapping. Yeah. And it just kind of comes out of nowhere, and I was already kind of bored. So to me, it was an entertainment value that I didn't see coming. So I'm going to have to give it that one. Laura?
Okay, I gave this a D-. I had to give it a little higher than an F, only because there were some awesome ideas and concepts that could have really been well executed, but they weren't. My favorite scene was the only scene in this entire movie that was like women empowerment, like a strong woman had something to say, and it is in Her Only Living Son. At the end, she has a speech, and she finally shows her strength in that scene, and then the end ruins it. But
yeah, that was definitely good.
That was my favorite scene.
Yeah, I'd agree as far as female empowerment goes. That's the only scene that had it, because she definitely went from a very weak part to a very strong part.
Yeah, she fought for.
So that was a much better. Whatever. Garbage.
All right, guys. Well, I think we definitely over-talked this one by now. You know what we think.
All right, guys. Thanks for dropping in. Sorry, we've had 2 real shit movies for you. Well, actually, quite a few shit movies since we started this. This has not been a good start to the year. Hopefully, things get better. For a list of a few of the movies that we really, really enjoy that are directed and written by women, we're going to throw up a list at the end of this video. Definitely check out some of those movies because they're excellent. Unlike this pile of shit, those are excellent movies. So definitely watch those, and we will check you next time.
Later.